All right.
Cool.
All right. She's been alerted.
Yep.
All right. We're good. Okay. Well, yeah, we're live, Tony. Welcome back to episode 43.
Hey.
We're back. We're back on 43. Yeah, man. It's been about not 2 years, almost a year now since we had you back on.
Really? Has
Yeah,
it been that long?
It's been about
Oh my
a year.
God.
Yeah,
We've been saying that we'll be on the podcast for like how many weeks is that?
Yeah, so for people who don't know, Tony, he's been on episode 12, I believe. If you guys do not know what that one is, go check that one out. But again, Tony,
it's super funny.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones, to be honest with you. And I don't tell that to everyone lightly. I've actually told some of my people who listen who my least favorite episode is, and you are not that least episode. So
I'm not the least.
You're not the least.
Okay.
So,
right.
But hold on, let me have you scoot up to your mic a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of want to be almost like kissing it.
I'm chewing these crackers, so I don't want to do. I mean, we could do ASMR. Here we go.
There you go.
These are really good Ritz crackers.
Maybe that's what
cheese.
people like to hear that one maybe a little bit.
That's why they like me on the. Like,
because you're raw and you're uncut.
Right.
And you're
I'm chewing crackers, and it's all good.
Okay. Yeah. So again, this is Tony Brave. I met Tony actually roughly about two years ago here at Wazoo. Was just sitting there doing homework, and actually Tony asked if I liked video games, and then we probably talked for 2 hours there. And I think Faith came in and kind of gave you the look that one day. And she's
well, hopefully it wasn't that long. Shoot, it probably was, though.
It was probably like I think it was an hour, but you dipped back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Like to go back into the place, you know?
Right. Like, I forgot to mention. Did you what about this level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, did you play in the arcade or did you play like regular?
Right.
But anyways, you just wrote an article that I want to bring up that was a very good read. Named I Played When Rivers Were Trails as a Mostly Honorable Human Being Teaching. That's the next line. But what could you tell people about who don't know what this is that you'd want to share about it? If you're willing to.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to share about this article and the game that I played. So there's this game that came out last year called When Rivers Were Trails, and it's made by native indigenous folk, and it's just super duper awesome. Basically, it's kind of like a point and click adventure game that has like a morality system in it, kind of, where you can be an honorable person or just kind of be a turd, I guess. So it takes you from the Great Lakes as a Anishinaabe person all the way down to California. And the reason why you're going on this trail is kind of to disrupt the Oregon Trail game story in a sense. But the reason why you're doing this is because white settlers have started moving into your territories due to the checkerboarding of the reservation, right? So that the government was giving out land, reservation land, to a lot of white people because they created this act that said if native people aren't on this land or using it, then now it's no longer in use and we can give it away. It was just another mean, terrible thing to do to get natives off their land, to steal land from native people, really. So anyways, you end up learning about these kind of things through the game. It's an educational game in that sense, and it's just really beautiful. I mean, the art, there's the music, the storytelling, all made by native people, and I'm just a super big fan of it. And I played it before last year and I loved it, and then I started playing another game called Disco Elysium, and I talked about this in the article. And then anyway, this game Disco Elysium is also a game that has sort of like morality mechanics into it. So you play, and there's consequences to the choices that you make and of how you play and what kind of person you end up being. And anyway, so I thought it was kind of an interesting parallel. And somebody had recently wrote an article about that game called, I think it was like, I played as a absolute fascist in Disco Elysium. And I was like, oh, that's a kind of a very catchy title. But I mean, to me, like, it's so much more impactful to to have a game where you can actually play as an honorable person from a native perspective, right? So that's just something I have not been able to do. I could play as a fascist person and have all these terrible things happen because of it, or consequences, and feel bad about it. I could take all the babies from the BioShock game or whatever and take all their power or whatever, but that's not really fun for me or interesting anymore, I would say. And playing as a bad guy was never interesting, but there's a lot of games with that option.
So for the people who don't even game in the sense of, like, to put it simply, the game is you choose outcomes to do, and in most games, you kind of follow a linear story, and you go this way, and you beat the boss, and you do this. Mm-hmm. But you're saying in this one, it can go a totally different way if you choose to, like, maybe give the homeless guy some change instead of beating his ass, right? Like, is that where the game's kind of like Disco Elysium?
Disco Elysium, yeah, kind of. I mean, you can be nice or understanding to somebody. Or you can just sort of dismiss with them, I guess, in a sense. It's a little bit more complicated. It's a very complicated system, but I mean, there's a basic sort of moral system. It'll give you a variety of different choices of how you want to interact with them or have a conversation. And there's a lot of parallels actually between these two games. If you end up playing them both at the same time, kind of like I did. You start the game and you have to choose your clan. When rivers were trails, that is, you have to choose like a different clan. There's 4 different clans to choose from, which sort of designate certain characteristics about you actually. So, in Disco Elysium, when you start, you actually have to choose. Yeah, they give you 4 different options to choose from as well, like a thinker, a sensitive person. I can't remember what else. Like a
Would you choose
a physical
sensitive?
person.
Would you choose sensitive?
I totally chose sensitive.
I would too.
I'm
I knew I would probably choose the same one.
Yeah, and I chose Lynx for the record for my last playthrough of When Rivers Were Trails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, so there's that parallel. You have 4 choices at the very beginning, and then you have to go in. Well, anyways, When Rivers Were Trails is great. It takes you across the map, and you have all these different spots and all these just different decisions to make. In your sort of inventory, you have well-being, like a certain amount of well-being that you have to manage. Mm-hmm. You'll spend it and get it depending on, I mean, you probably won't use the word spend, but you'll lose some and you'll get some depending on what you do in the game. And then there's also food. You'll lose some as you progress through the map. You'll just naturally eat food. Sometimes you'll get food stolen from you, or sometimes you can share your food with other people. And then there's also the third and last one is medicine. And so you can get medicine and you can share medicine and you can lose medicine. And they're all different kinds of medicines that you can get, but they're kind of represented with one like kind of leaf sort of symbol. And so you play throughout the map, you play throughout the story, and it's kind of like a sprawling map. You don't have to go the same direction every time you play. You can go up or down. Sometimes you have a choice between like east and south, for example, and you can, this res I know is south from here, so I've been there before. Let's see what they have to say down there. And that's a really kind of a fun thing for me. And as I kept playing and getting into it, hours into it, I'm like, man, this is just amazing to be able to I guess retread the places that I've been in my life. But in like the late 1800s, which is when the game is set, and just to go to these different reservations and talk to these different folks and hear them. You read actually every place you go to, there's actually like the traditional languages are actually in the game and then translated into English, and it depends on, I guess, on who did the translating and how it's represented, but it's just amazing to see so much native representation, so much diversity in all languages, and you play. It's just native people, and I didn't think at first like that wasn't really a big deal. I'm like, cool, native people, of course, right? I mean, this is a game about and by native people, cool. But by the end, I was like, oh my god, I just got overwhelmed, sensitive, right? I got overwhelmed with this just feeling of beauty, like, oh my god, like I started feeling like I wish more games and more media was like that, where it could just wash over me over and over and over like waves lapping at a beach, just saying native people, native people, right? And eventually I just realized that it it sort of just opened up my heart to this experience a lot more. I guess I'm a little bit guarded, when it comes to like media and stuff, and I just wasn't ready for so much awesomeness in it, but it finally broke through. It finally hit me, man. It hit me, and it's just
amazing.
Amazing. And I mean, at parts of the game, I was really like, I had tears welling up in my eyes because I got at a few different points. One was when I got to talk with Little Bear, Chief Little Bear, I'm a direct ancestor of, or he's my direct ancestor. I mean, putting the cart before the horse there, but that was just beautiful. And I got to like joke on Rosebud Reservation. I got to give medicine to the slaughtered buffalo, which is like and anybody who hears about it, is sympathetic. But I mean, as somebody who's Lakota, and I wasn't able to be there. I wasn't able to stop it. I feel so helpless and hopeless when I read history. But there was something just deeply therapeutic to be able to, even if it's just super symbolic, even if it's just clicking a couple buttons in that medicine, it kind of floats up and it's gone. But just clicking on that thing, something inside of me was triggered in a way that just I don't know. It's just, I guess there was something deep down inside of me that I always wanted to be able to do that, but I just wasn't able to, and I didn't know it. It was like a secret achievement in a game,
So you were like, you were put in it. It was like you were put into the time and the history. It felt like just by clicking.
Yeah, I mean,
it hit you on that personal level.
Yeah, I mean, just by clicking, and I think that it's some people. How do I put it? I've heard some people say like, "Oh, games are not really that realistic, or you can't really get that into it, and blah blah blah." But I remember when I was a kid, I guess I have a really easy, like for me, it's just really easy to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, those puppet people that wear like black suits.
Yeah.
Right, and I remember they come in and they tell you, oh, by the end of it, you're not going to see the black suit people. You're just going to see the puppets that they're holding, whatever. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to not see those people. I totally ignored them after like 10 minutes. I didn't even see them. Like I was so into it, right? So I don't know. And then you could do that for games. I mean, you just suspend your disbelief and you're into it. Just like there's actors in a movie on the TV. You do that for a game as well. So I mean. You say it's clicking, but it's also totally interactive, being a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, in a short way of saying it, it's like a getaway from life, would you say? Because I know when I watch like a sci-fi movie or something, I kind of put myself and totally indulge myself in it. And I'm like, oh, I actually almost feel like when I go to the movie theaters and watch a movie, I'm there.
Yeah.
And that's the exact feeling you probably felt in that game. Like I just like may have said, or did say, clicking, it's more than just the click. It's like you're actually like moving that thing that it wants you to move, it feels like. And as two guys who are native, I look at it from in media, there isn't somebody who we can really just kind of say, oh, there's like our Thor. And we had this conversation before where we can't really be like, oh, that's who I identify with, you know?
Yeah.
And other than the stereotypical I'm supposed to be that guy, because I'm the native guy in the friend group. But like you were saying though, like what could we, I don't know, like is it just the representation you think we need to, what do you
improve on?
Where do you think it should start for natives in media really?
Well, for natives in media in general, I just want to see more stuff being made by native people, right? I just think that it just doesn't come out the same when you have somebody who's making a non-native person making something with native people in it. It just, even if you have consultants and that's fine, it just doesn't come out the same. So an example I think is kind of bringing it back to games a little bit is Microsoft Studios had partnered with Nesper's Cultural Resources to create a couple native characters out of the Killer Instinct IP. So Microsoft bought the Killer Instinct IP, which is an old fighting game from back in the 90s. Super fun. Yeah, you had that on the 64, right?
Yes,
is that what
I had the gold one, the Killer Instinct Gold.
Classic. Yeah. So if you recall, there was a native character in it, right? So what was his name? Chief Thunder.
Yeah, Chief Thunder was his name. Yeah,
it was so cheesy. But of course, all your friends probably wanted you to play it. Like, hey, you should play Chief Thunder. Like, nah, I'm
I get
like
you should be Nightwolf.
Oh, that's the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, you got that.
Yeah,
right. Well, anyways, so they bought this, and I think they're kind of like, oh, we're kind of sitting on something that's got some issues, some problems with it, and they wanted to, update it, I guess, and make it good. And so they reached out to Nez Perce Tribe, and I'm sure they could talk more about it. They're both on the Microsoft side and the Nez Perce side, they probably have a lot more to say about it. But anyways, they were trying to. They wanted to get their voices right, so I guess at one point they had like non-native actors reading the Nez Perce language, because they already had like in-studio people, and they're busy. The people at Nez Perce Tribe, the language teacher, that all this kind of stuff. So, but I guess like through back and forth, the language guy would listen to it and be like, oh, that's not quite right. That's not quite right. You got to do this. And then it would just go back and forth, finally to the point where they just said, no, all right, we'll just bring him all the way over. Let's get him into the recording studio.
Just bring him over here, get it done.
Yeah. And that's only until that happened was it right? So you can't just have non-native people doing things that should be native. I mean, not to say that non-native people shouldn't, be learning native languages. I mean, that's kind of cool, actually, but the authenticity wouldn't be there without it. And I think when it comes to designing a game, we bring who we are, or to designing a game, or making any kind of art or media or whatever it might be. It has to come from who we are, and then not just some sort of like derivative understanding of what a native person is like.
Just like knowing of it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Or even like, I mean,
if you studied it.
Even if you studied it really well and you got all these native friends and you hang out at Powell's, so you're out there on the dance floor.
I lived on the res. I know. It's do you?
Yeah.
To relate to that, you gave me this book actually. I wanted to tell people about it. It's Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier. Schreier.
Yep.
Includes stories from like a lot of big games that I've played personally. Destiny in particular is the one I really went to and read. But what you said, it's like when you bring someone in native, you get like the full experience of it and you feel it. And Destiny kind of had the same type of thing with them as with when they branched off to Bungie, when they had 300 plus people working on Destiny, and then before they had 50 people working on about Halo, they said.
Okay.
And they said the thing that was really cool about Halo when it was first made is that you could feel the authenticity of like, you could tell somebody worked on it. Like you feel like the people's fingerprints were on the things that were made.
Okay.
Because it was so like intricate and down to the wire. But like when you get more people, it's harder to replicate that. So I feel like in that same case, to bring the Nez Perce back was just kind of like keeping it authenticity, the authentic part of it.
Yeah.
And that to relate it to that somehow, I just wanted to bring this book in there somehow. I really thought it was a good read. But yeah, it's a really good book, and I see you've been reading a lot of actually good gaming books. Which one would you? Because I know you said you would give this one in your 101 class.
Yeah, I taught one game studies 101 class, and I assigned that book in lieu of another book because the other book was out of print, and it broke my heart. And so, I mean, I think that's a really good book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. It's kind of like a really good reality check to anybody who's interested in making games or who wants to get into the AAA industry. I think he really shows the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to game, like really, really big budget game development and indie development as well. Because there's a game that he a case that he investigates called Stardew Valley in that one, for example. And it's not all pretty. It's a little worrisome when you hear about a guy who just like by himself makes this game for years and years and years and has to like
neglect everything.
I don't know, just like explain it to his girlfriend, and she's supporting him, and I'm starting to feel like this, it's not exactly healthy,
Yeah.
So it's not all that it's cracked out to be, but it is really interesting stuff, and he kind of pulls the curtain away to see the wizard behind the whatever.
That's super. Yeah, that's super cool because a lot of people think, like, oh, it's all You know, you could go do a startup and have the right people, but sometimes that isn't enough. If you know the right people and you're good at coding and you have designers and you have all this stuff, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like there was I forgot I think it was Anthem. It was called. It was the game. It was supposed to be the one after Destiny, and that one they put a lot of money in it, and it just. Which one was it?
I think Anthem. Anthem was who created that? It's the guys BioWare.
Yeah, BioWare made it.
Yeah, that didn't pan out the way that.
Nope, and neither did Apex.
Hoped.
Apex wasn't. I played it, and it just wasn't the one that was gonna take down Fortnite, like we were saying.
Yeah, it wasn't really the Fortnite killer, but I liked it. I like it better than Fortnite
because
I suck
at first person.
I suck at third person.
Oh yeah, third person's hard.
Yeah.
Fortnite's the only third person game I'll play that I'm good at.
Okay.
But I haven't played Gears though. You're a big Gears guy.
Yeah.
So you know Gears.
Yeah, I love Gears. That's a series. I mean, it's so it's so like over the top, silly, like oozing like masculinity and like blood and gore and stuff. But I've always loved those games. One thing I particularly like about it is I get to play it with my wife. She loves it.
Yeah.
And we get to play co-op, and we've beaten all the games together.
So like Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3?
1 through 5 plus like the other one, Gears Judgment. So that's 6 games that we've all...
Damn.
Multiple difficulty levels. It's...
Goals right there.
Yeah.
It's goals.
Relationship goals.
Yeah, relationship goals right there.
Find somebody who you can play co-op with, man. You can just chainsaw all your enemies together. It's beautiful.
So yeah, there's like chainsaw guns. There's everything. Probably the most manly game I played was probably Resident Evil. Resident Evil was pretty gory.
Yeah.
All the Mortal Kombats.
Oh yeah.
But video games in general are a huge thing. I mean, we talked about the tournaments last time, but you recently went and watched Tekken, or you were gonna play in it.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta tell the whole
clean.
Yeah, you gotta come clean now.
All right. Well,
you can just give them the whole story.
The whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So last May, we're gonna go to Korea. So my wife's from Korea, and we're gonna go visit home for her. And she said that like right before we got to Korea, or we're like a week before going off to Korea, or maybe earlier actually, because we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. She had mentioned to me that there was a tournament happening, a Tekken tournament, and I like Tekken. I've been playing Tekken since I was a kid. I won a Tekken tournament at the local arcade when I was in middle school, this kind of stuff. So I was like, I've been playing Tekken for a long time, kind of on and off. But anyways, Tekken 7 came back, and it was like a lot of fun. And anyway, so she was like, oh, maybe you want to like sign up. It's only like $20 or $15 or something like that to sign up. And I was like, oh, it's sure, I guess, why not? I mean, and then she signed me up, right? And then I looked at they actually released like the roster, and like if I had won my first match, I would have been facing what's his name? Oh gosh,
is he like the LeBron of Tekken?
Chanel. He's his name is Chanel. I don't know, but he's really good, and he plays the same main character that I do, and so like I would have to face him in a mirror match, like this like. I don't know if he's the LeBron, but
he's probably he's definitely good.
He would have been like the Sean Kemp, maybe.
The Sean Kemp. There we go. Save our Sonics, by the way.
Save our Sonics.
Yeah, there.
Save our Sonics. But yeah. So I was like, oh man, that's crazy that I would be like sitting next to him potentially if I won my first match, which I wouldn't. I mean, I know that I was not ready. I was not. I mean, so I didn't feel ready, but I thought, what I'll do is I'll go to Korea. Yeah, I said they got arcades all over the place in Korea still, and so all I have to do is just get some change and sit down and train up, brush the dust off, and maybe I'll get a round. Maybe I'll get a round in. Maybe lose the rest, but I'll feel like proud that I get a round in at least. And you can even play online in the arcades with other people, right? So it's really great internet out there, and so even in an arcade you could be playing somebody like in Busan, which is the south part of South Korea.
And it's just flawless.
It's pretty flawless.
Really?
Yeah, once it gets connected, like you're set.
in.
Yeah, you're in. But anyway, so I end up going to Korea, right? And the purpose of this trip is not me or anything about it. This is for Kate and her family and everything. And Kate sort of said, "Oh, to everybody that I'm going to be doing this," and I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sweating." I'm like, "Really? Am I doing? Don't tell everybody."
You're like, "Come on."
Well, yeah. And I'm like, "I'm not sure about this. I'm getting a little nervous." And then I go, but all right, I'll go to the arcade, and I started playing, and like I'm not getting any online matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, "Oh man, when am I going to get connected with anybody?" So I put in like a couple games and I played it and I beat it, but then like the third time I played, then I played somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got thrashed.
Like
I got beat down. Him? I don't know how. I mean, I might have touched him a couple times, but that was really it. I was like, "Holy crap!" And I was playing a little bit at home. Like I was playing on my PC. I got my own joystick and everything. This cheesy old thing that I got back in like 2012 or maybe earlier. But yeah, I was doing okay. I thought I was holding my own. But Korea is just another world when it comes to fighting games, especially Tekken, right? So they're the world champions pretty much, like for the last 10 years or longer, who knows. And so I got the beat down of my life, man, and I'm like, but I'm not going to give up. I'm just rusty,
I'm rusty.
This is how I get my game back, back into the groove. And so I kept playing and playing and playing and playing, and like every match is actually like 50 cents. And like every match is getting over in like 30 seconds.
So you're just putting money down the.
Yeah. So after 30 minutes, I'm like, I get a round. I'll get 2 rounds out of 3. So you got to get 3 out of. I guess it's the best 3 out of 5.
If you win, do you have to pay again?
No.
Okay.
No. And then finally it happened. I won.
You won.
I won. I was like,
I'm not rusty no more.
I'm not getting rusty no more. Yes, I got him finally. He was this cheap Jin player. God, anyway. I finally got him, and he didn't even like replay me at all.
He's like, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm not giving this guy any more chance to get better. And so I played again. I just felt so empty. I was like, oh, I don't got my partner anymore. And then nobody re-upped and connected to me like for the next like 2 matches. And I played the computer like twice, and I was like, I'm
good.
And then I'm like, and I take a look around the arcade. I'm like, I'm a 39-year-old guy in an arcade that has like 1 person in it, and I was just like, I just feel like a loser.
Oh God.
And anyway, so I was like, oh, I'll just go home and we'll see what happened. Maybe it was a bad day. I was just bad timing.
Rusty.
Or something like that. Just rusty. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then.
So you went to the gym, you trained.
I went to the gym.
You beat up the meat lockers.
I guess. I mean, it was this dusty old gym, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, I was kind of sweating. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm actually going to get good, really, if I'm going to keep playing like that. I'm just going to make a fool of myself. But family stuff. And we're really busy, too. Like, I didn't have a lot of time to be playing games or whatever over there. And I'm like, but I had to make Kate's like, oh, no, you should go give it a try. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll give it another try. And another problem is like I was training, like my main actually at that time was Armor King, which is one particular character, right? And in the arcades, they didn't have that character. It wasn't available. So Armor King was only available as a DLC for like the console and PC edition of the game, but the arcade one never got updated.
Okay.
With Armor King. And actually, so I guess my old main was Elisa, but now that I got it on at home, it was actually Armor King. And then when I had to play at the arcade, I couldn't play my main guy, so I had to actually go back to the character that I haven't played for like 2 years or something like that, or longer. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a while since I really got into it. But anyway, I guess long story. Well, this is another. Well, then I go home and Kate's like pumping everybody up though at her house.
Like, all right, guys.
She's like, he's in it. Tony's been practicing. And then I started thinking, oh man, I'm like, and I realized, don't you have to bring your own joystick into the tournaments? Like a lot of people bring their own USB connected like joysticks, and if you watch those tournaments, you'll see them do that. I'm like, I don't even have any of those. I'm not practicing with my main. I got no time. I'm not connecting anybody. I'm getting beat up. I'm getting beat up by randos, and they're not even giving me a chance after I beat them. Like, I'm not getting any practice. So I'm starting to really kind of I'm bugging here. and then like Kate's sister-in-law, she's like, "Oh, I'm on it." They're like online, and they're trying to find the best deal for like a new joystick. I'm like, "No, please stop this. I don't
want you to buy.
Please don't buy it. Don't spend your money." I'm like, or I don't spend my money either because I don't got any, and I'm just struggling. I just told them I don't know. I can't even remember. I went back and I got really frustrated at one point, and I just said, "Forget it. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to make a fool of myself out there because there's all these things that I didn't take into account. Not being able to play my main, not being able to connect to people online or any of this stuff, or get actual hours into play. Like I was playing with, I played for an hour. Mm-hmm. Like if I want to get tournament ready to play the best people in the entire world, I'm gonna have to get more than
8
good.
hours a day, maybe
At least, right? Just to hold
a weekend or two.
I mean, like a year is what you need to get just to compete with these guys. Just to. Yeah, so I don't know. I just told them stop it. They're just freaking me out. Like we're gonna do all these things. I'm like, too much stress. So, like the whole family is getting behind it. No,
I want to just go get some food, man.
Yeah, I just want to get some Korean food. Anyway, so we end up actually going. It was at a gaming expo, so kind of like E3, but a lot smaller. And they had the tournament there, and I got to watch everybody play and all that kind of stuff. So it was cool. Mm-hmm. JDCR, he's one of my favorite tournament players. He also plays Armor King, so it was cool to see somebody get up there and just rock it with my favorite character. Oh, yeah. He didn't win, but he's Korean.
Oh, okay.
I would have been the only American too. Like on the roster,
no,
I was the cool. I was the only American there.
What? That would have been even cool. Like, do they have like the flags next to your name?
They do.
What? Oh, you should have just put your name in it just to say.
I bowed out, man. I was like, I was slinking away.
Dude, if you would have won your first round, I fucking lost to that American over there.
But then, I mean, people would have talked so much shit, though.
Yeah.
If they saw what happened, me getting crushed, the only Americans, like, what? There's an American there? Who's this guy? Like, who's this guy think he is? Like, I mean, there's a lot of great American players, right? And some scrubby-ass, no-name guy comes out of nowhere and just gets his ass beat.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, we have a good American Tekken player. He's just not there, and you go, and I'm taking his place. They're like, oh, this guy must be pretty good.
Yeah. No, I'm just a guy with $20 that happened to be visiting his wife's family in Korea. Not good. No.
That's awesome, though. I think that's what makes it like even more epic. So you guys went and you witnessed it. You watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. We brought my niece and our niece and nephew there, and they had a great time. It was really fun to see the kids just enjoy really cool gaming expo, and I got to see some of the best Tekken players in the world. It was just a great time, regardless. So. Later, I saw, I think it was on somebody else's stream. I don't know, like a lot of the other like the Tekken streamers and YouTubers and stuff were actually looking at those rosters and talking about different players and sort of saying, "Oh, I wonder what's going to happen when these two fight." Nobody talked about me though.
Oh.
Nobody did. They're like, "Oh, Chanel versus blah blah blah." That's going to be an interesting fight. I think it's going to be this person. Of course, they did. I was sweating though. I was like, "Please don't mention me. Please don't mention me."
Wait. So you were watching it.
I watched it later.
Popped up on the video.
I think I could have seen like on the roster my name. I don't know. I just didn't want to see it. I was trying not to see it, but I was like, oh my god, they're doing these. I didn't want to watch the whole video.
That
so I'm like,
crazy. They're like, who's this Tony Brave guy?
Yo, yeah. So and then I find out later that they actually live streamed the pools, so that I would have been actually live streamed. So I would have gotten the lifetime beatdown of the
on
live streamed, and all the American people would have been like, who the hell is this guy?
You probably would have ignited us going over there and bringing more people over there. You never know.
Yeah, I would have flown over there just to kick my ass. That's probably what would have happened.
Come on, dude.
Please. Just a guy with $20.
You definitely would have been the first native to play. That's for sure.
Probably, yeah. In Korea, to play at a tournament level, the first native, that's what I was hoping for. But that's what I was sort of pumping myself at night.
If you win in, dude, that would be a cool movie right there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that right now. Like a Native American guy goes to Korea for a gaming tournament.
Beats everybody down.
Trains in these arcades.
And then loses.
Has a family pumping him up and then loses. Like it's like an hour and a half.
It would be a true story, kind of. I mean...
Based on a true story. That would be cool. You See, that's what I think would be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got those meme glasses for me in Korea. I actually wore those on show. I don't remember what show I wore those on.
Oh,
the meme, the
just deal with it ones.
Deal with it glasses. People like those ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, Korea sounds like it's But another thing too with the Wi-Fi over there is
the internet and the Wi-Fi. Oh yeah. I mean, the last time I lived in Korea was like the year 2011 to 2012, and at that time I could download a movie in probably 2 seconds. Like it really literally was a gigabyte of data in a second.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
I sit out here for me to download Red Dead, which is 80 gigs.
Yeah.
I was getting 23 megabytes per second.
Yeah.
And that's a fraction of that.
Probably megabits.
Yeah, megabits.
Yeah.
And it would be like 8
even
hours
slower.
before my game was done.
Yeah, man, it's
insane. And you go over there, just boom. You could just, I want to watch Step Brothers, and then you just go, ting.
Yep. Just like that.
How cool
just
is
like
that?
So yeah.
Is it? My buddy was saying, I think you said it too. Like, if the government pays for the Wi-Fi there, is that how it works, or is it like, do they have Comcast and stuff there too?
I mean, they have like private companies, but like how the fiber was, like the fiber optic network, whatever that happened in Korea, like that was all like government supported and subsidized, so that the entire country was pretty much like had all this fiber laid down. So one company doesn't own them all, I think, and everybody just sort of uses whatever company, and they sort of jump onto the fiber network, whatever it is. I'm not a tech guy, but that's as far. There's tubes and there's data packets and they're moving across, and
they give us Wi-Fi.
And they give us Wi-Fi
and we can game on them.
Yes, and we can lose at Tekken and tell stories about it on podcasts.
So I got some video game trends that I wanted to bring up.
What's up?
And Nintendo says it has no plans for a new Switch this year.
Okay.
I kind of thought this was big because everybody else is it feels like everyone's kind of gearing up for war right now, like another console war.
Yeah. Oh yeah. PS4,
yep.
Xbox,
PS4
something.
And Xbox are like, we
Series X.
Yeah.
What
is Xbox One is like it's like a toilet, or like it's shaped like, I don't know how it looks.
That's the PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5.
It looks like it's like a
like a toilet.
Yeah, it looks like a toilet seat.
So there's that. So there's PS5, and then there's whatever the new Xbox One. I don't remember what it's called.
Series X.
Yeah, Series
or something
X
like
is coming out, and then
maybe
Nintendo just up and says, "Hey, we aren't really worried about it." You think that's because the Switch is doing so well? They're just like, well, we don't need to worry about this.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they seem to be doing really well though.
Yeah.
They're I saw somebody report that they pretty much think that the Switch Lite, I think, alone has already outsold the Xbox One, original Xbox Ones. Yeah.
Damn.
Just in the time that it has come out. So
I got my brother a Switch for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was gonna get the Lite one, but I was like, I'll get him the regular one. But I didn't think the Lite would have that much sales.
I didn't either. I was like,
it wouldn't be that well.
I like playing on my TV.
Me too.
I'm not a mobile guy that much, so.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm not much of a mobile guy, except for classic Clash of Clans.
Handheld, I guess is what you called it.
Clash of Clans a lot.
Okay.
But anyway, Atari branded hotels are now going to start being a thing in the U.S.
Atari branded hotels.
Have you ever seen those things? Have you ever seen one of those hotels?
No, I don't. Are they? Oh no. Atari. Wait. Yeah, Atari's an American company.
Oh, okay.
But it's a Japanese word.
Oh wow, that was messed up on my part.
No, it's all good.
Atari branded, so it's like now these hotels are gonna be like esport oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's gonna be super cool. They're gonna have like game rooms in these hotels to have gaming conferences, people to game in their rooms, so like they can have like a team hotel floor. It's kind of cool how they're gonna be doing it.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, so
is it gonna have wood paneling on the hotels like the console?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Or it looks like a big joystick, like the Atari joystick.
Yeah, what are the door handles gonna? Do you have to? Yeah.
Did you play the Atari?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had one myself, but my friend did.
Mm-hmm.
Or my mom's friend did, and I had to like go over to my mom's friend's house to hang out with my mom's friend's kids.
Yep.
It's one of those things where well, they're really nice actually. They turned out to be really nice,
good.
but I remember at first that you got to go and you're like, I don't want to hang out with, what's his name? Otto? What kind of name is Otto?
I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
Atari, you're like, well.
Yeah, well, Atari is old. I mean, at that time, I was like, oh, that's like kind of eh.
Did you have the 60? Was the Super Nintendo out?
No, at that time, so Atari came out, before I was born, really. But its life cycle was still going in the 80s, and then Nintendo. I was born in like 1980, but we must have gone over there. I don't know, like 1986 or something. And I had already played the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I was already hooked on that. I didn't have one at the time either.
You're like, I'm better than.
Yeah, my neighbor has a Nintendo. I'd prefer Atari, but I guess I'll go over there. Yeah, but when I got it there, it actually turned out he was a really nice kid. He was the same age as me, and he had a little brother and all that stuff. And Atari there's some really interesting games on it. I remember like getting really into it and loving it. There's like some, like those side-scrolling shooting spaceship games where you're flying and you're shooting from the left, like Gradius or something like that. But it was like a giant robot that was doing it. So you're not a spaceship, you're like a giant robot.
Whoa.
I was like, this is interesting. Yeah. Just before anime was like a big thing.
Yeah.
In America, but
it's everywhere. So
I did like it. I mean, it's cool. And then I've read about it a lot later. The ultimate history of video games or something like that.
And it was on there.
Well, Atari is like the forerunner. I mean, it's like the big console of all I mean, it was like the original console, I guess. No, it's not the original console. I don't know what I'm saying, but it was a big hit. It was an awesome console. Like everybody loved it. It had the market for a very long time until later when other consoles started beating it up, like Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo kind of came in and just kind of like
thrashed
everyone to the side.
Yeah, there was like this thing during the 80s that like there was a big, all these, oh God, my brain doesn't work when I'm supposed to be talking and it's supposed to be working. There was a crash. There was a gaming crash when everybody lost like all the shareholders pulled their money out and of game development. No, because I guess the story, part of the story is that they're all so low quality. Like the ET game on Atari was just a steaming pile of crap, and there's just so much crap out there that nobody was actually spending money on them anymore. They kind of lost their faith in the quality of the systems. And then Nintendo comes in later, and they're like, we make really quality games. Like, this is our focus. Like, it's got the Nintendo seal of quality on them. And so they sort of stole that. They stole the market. I mean, that's one story, one angle.
Did people hate Nintendo?
Did people hate it?
Yeah, like, were people like haters when Nintendo first came out? Like, fuck them. We make quality games too.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good. Would hate them. I mean, there were obviously competitors to all the other people. I'm sure. I mean, you should go read that book too. That's a really interesting game. Interesting book. I mean, about games, and there's a lot of in and out. There's a lot like Nolan Bushnell. You can learn about how his business strategies are all really wild, and I don't know. It's so there's so many nuances to it. So much detail that I really wouldn't be able to do it justice, I think, if I just tried to talk about it right now. But
all right, well, I got something for you.
What's up?
So Slant Magazine's they're a big gaming magazine, I believe. I looked it up on Google. They have the top 10 video games of the 2010s, and number 2 was a game we actually just talked about.
Oh,
which is
there it
Disco
is.
Elysium.
Uh-huh.
And I've never heard about this game except for what you just told me. And that's number 2 on the list. So before we get to that one, we have Doom, Super Hot, Red Dead Redemption, Outer Wilds, God of War, Portal 2, Mass Effect 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and Disco Elysium. And then number 1 I haven't even heard of is Nier Automata.
Nier Automata.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. I didn't see Automata. Fortnite, but this was, they did top 100, and I just chose to pick top 10.
Okay. Yeah.
So what could you tell me, and do you think some of these should be switched, or do you think they're in the right order? What do you think from these 10?
Well, I mean, I recognize all of these games, but I don't know. Like, it's really up to your own personal taste. It's there's a million of these different, I think, lists, and it's interesting. They're interesting to look at and to say, oh, how much do I agree or disagree with them? And I don't know. Like for me, Doom was kind of fun. I guess we got it on Redbox and beat it in one day.
Oh, that's I don't like it when I could beat a game in one day.
It was hard.
Was it? Okay, that's better.
Kate kept pushing me on.
Oh, so you guys like grinded for it then?
We did.
Okay,
yeah, cause
there you go.
Kate was a big Doom fan back in the day. Like
my brother's dad was, or my dad was too.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, look at this cool like re-updated one." She was the one who wanted to get it actually, and then she started playing it, and then she'll pass the controller over. No, you do it. I'm gonna go take care of the dogs or something. Like, keep playing, and then she'll come back and I'll give it to her, and then we'll switch off. And eventually, it ended up being like me. She's like, "You got to keep playing. You got to finish it. You got to get to the end."
Pumping you up.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so I ended up beating it, and I don't know. It was cool. It was interesting. I'm not crazy for this game, although I love the fact that John Romero is a native guy. He's part of the original team that created the original Doom. So I'm like, heck yeah, that's cool. And then there's Super Hot, which I played. I hear it's really good on VR. Like you're like in it, and you like feel like you're dodging bullets, and you're just doing like super cool stuff. But I played it on Xbox, like from Game Pass, and I was like,
it's probably better virtual.
Yeah, everybody says it's like one of the best games for VR ever, right? So that's what I've heard. I can kind of get it, I guess. I read Red Dead. I did play Red Dead, the original Red Dead. It was fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds I think it was originally like a remastered almost version or a remake of the original one by the same person. Yep. There's like it won an Indie Award at one point, and then it's come back, and I heard it's a really great game. I haven't played it. It's one of the ones I want to get to. That's also on Game Pass. I have it downloaded, but there's so many games.
There's
so many games to play. Yeah. God of War, that was an interesting one. I played through that. Another game that Kate and I love to play.
God of War?
She loves that ultra violence. I don't know what it is. So we played. Actually, we played all three of the originals. She didn't really like this one though.
The newest one?
Yeah, she didn't like it that much. I played all the way through. It's kind of cool. It's it wasn't like as crazy as I thought it was. Did you play any of these ones?
I haven't played Doom, Super Hot, Outer Wilds, God of War, Portal 2, Mass Effect. I haven't played any of them except for Red Dead.
Oh, okay.
And that's crazy for me. That's why I put it on here, because I was like, I don't even know.
Like, what the hell is going on in this world?
Yeah, like I know I know God of War, Portal 2, Mass Effect, Mario.
Okay, so you know of these.
I know of most of them except for Outer Wilds, Super Hot, and the first two.
Huh. Yeah. I played Portal 1. I never played Portal 2. I have it. Mm-hmm. It's a good game.
I wasn't really...
Portal 1 was fun.
Yeah, I wasn't really like... I just never got into it. I just didn't buy it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a puzzle room game.
Yeah, where you like shoot the portals up the things.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, like a cool concept though.
Yeah,
for sure. Cool
concept. Yeah, I mean, Super Hot's kind of a cool concept. There's like these cool concept-y games.
Yeah.
That I think they're interesting, but I'm really not that crazy about it right now. Like, I can solve all these puzzles, and they did it in a really cute, interesting way with great art and blah blah blah.
You're like, okay, well.
Yeah, I'd rather play something that's a little closer to home if I can, or has a really cool story or something. But anyway, yeah. Mass Effect 2, that was another. That's like a action RPG, first person shooter RPG. I played that one. I played all the way through that. That's an interesting game. That was a BioWare game.
Mass Effect. I've actually heard good things about.
Yeah.
Really good, actually.
Yeah, it's like all these branching narratives, and you can do all these different. You can make a lot of moral choices, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about with Disco Elysium and When Rivers Were Trails. Yeah, very big game. I never played the Super
Odyssey.
I never played Odyssey. I guess I could have.
I heard it's like a Mario Sunshine. It's like the newest one.
Yeah.
Same with Galaxy was kind of like the Mario Sunshine of that generation. I liked it. Did you play Mario Sunshine? I thought Mario Sunshine was really well done. I didn't beat it.
What was that for? Was it Wii U?
That was GameCube.
GameCube. Oh yeah, I never got a GameCube.
Did you skip that one?
I did.
So you went from was it 64 to GameCube?
I didn't even get a 64. I had a
Super
Nintendo, and then I got a Wii.
Oh, the Wii's like a GameCube though in itself too.
Yeah, it plays GameCube.
Yeah,
games,
which is super cool.
Yeah,
very underrated console.
Yeah, it's it's a lot actually. Yeah, but it wasn't like a hardcore gamer console.
Yeah, it was like I feel like that's more like the family console like everyone had.
Right.
But yeah, so the last two though.
Disco Elysium. Yeah, I think it's an incredible game. Like it's I think a lot of I don't know, like I haven't even finished it. I've gotten really far into it. It's like a detective story, and you're trying to figure out a murder. Incredible art. Like this painting is the paint. It's like got this sort of oil paint aesthetic to it. Yeah, it's all really interesting stuff. I mean, but it doesn't hit home like a game like for me like When Rivers Were Trails. Even though it's super super like unique design to it. The part of this game is like when you play, you're having you're talking to these people, and then like a voice in your head sort of speaks up. Yeah. You have these 24 different voices. Yeah. And you can give points to them, and like the more points you give to one of those voices is the more they're going to chime in basically, and sometimes you can't really trust them either. So one of them is like authority, and then anything to do with like authority, he's like if you're talking to somebody,
take over.
Yeah, he'll say like take over. Yeah, he likes domination and this kind of stuff, and or he'll say, oh, they're trying to assert their domination on you. You better do it back to them and this kind of stuff.
So there's 24 of those voices.
Yeah, there's 24 different ones. So there's like volition. There's one weird one called what's it called? Inland Empire. Yeah. And it's one that like believes in all this like crazy like
the conspiracy guy.
Yeah, it's the conspiracy guy. But it's like it's not like science. It's more like a fantasy. Yeah. Like there's a mystical religion. I love it though. Like I love that. That's cool. When you're too sensitive, that's like the main one. So he's always interjecting. Yeah, overthinking. Well. Yeah, interjecting all this crazy stuff. I mean, there's tons of different ones. There's one called Shivers where you'll walk around the map, and sometimes they'll give you a chance you get the shivers, and then it'll just tell you this whole story about where you're at, and like describe the scenery in more detail than you knew.
Like a spirit, like you're kind of spiritual almost.
Well, it's more like it's almost like having somebody narrate the background for you, like the actual setting, like when the storyteller tells you the setting of a place, all these details that you weren't aware of. So I mean, it's really unique and interesting.
I want to try that out. That actually sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, you should. I mean, there's so many.
Is it on Game Pass or is it
full
price game?
Right now, I think it's only on like PC.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know.
Oh, I think I saw you playing it on my Xbox, or not my Xbox, but like when I looked online, and I saw you were on Nier Automata. So you were playing it on the PC?
Nier?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or no, you might have been playing a different game.
No, I was probably playing Gears on
yeah,
Xbox.
I think it was Gears. Yeah. Actually, I don't remember I think I saw someone play this.
No, it's only on PC, I think, right now.
For Disco?
Yeah, for Disco. Okay. Yeah. But I think it's coming for other stuff later. Unless I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah.
And then how do you say this last one?
Nier Automata or Nier Automata. Yeah, so I've heard it be said both ways, but I have this game for PlayStation, and it is a really unique and interesting game, but man, is it just such a time sink. Like you play through the game as a character, and it has a whole story, and it's about, oh God, what is it about? I have to think back. Like you're some sort of like cyborg, and you're trying to figure out how everything was destroyed. There's like cyborgs versus robots, which is very Japanese kind of like thing. It's very anime. It's
anime, isn't it?
It's kind of very anime aesthetic to it. And then once you play through it, you beat it, and then it gives you a chance to play through as a different character in the story with a very different perspective on it. Okay. With a different kind of abilities and all this kind of stuff. So I played through it once, and then I started to play it through the second time. I'm like, blah, I got no energy left. It was really good. I mean, if I was a teenager or something like that with that much time on my hands, I probably would really love it. I might put it pretty high, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's your top?
My top? If I were to make one, if I were to put my favorite, I'd put Destiny at 1 for me, dude. Dude, I love that game. Destiny's number 1 for me. Mostly because it's first and third person. The incorporation of raids with 6 people, I think, was my favorite thing in the cooperative aspect of having to get 6 dudes that had to you couldn't, like in Call of Duty, you could get 6 guys and play a game. Yeah. But you guys don't have to really talk. You guys can just kind of just shoot people oh, maybe the guy's flanking you, watch behind you.
Yeah.
But Destiny's like, yo, pick that fucking relic up and go over here, do this, and then we have to, like, there's way more responsibility on people, and that's what I really loved about it. It kind of had an aspect of World of Warcraft that I really, like, admired, like, acquiring armor.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked that about it. It was kind of a grindy game, though.
You're going to grind for that armor or that gun?
I didn't like that too much, but it made it fun, you know, because then I could see someone like, oh, he didn't just pay for that. Because now it's like, oh, you could just buy that.
Oh, that's, you know? Oh, yeah.
So if I were to go top 3, I'd go Destiny. It would hurt not to say Call of Duty or Halo. But I think I would lean towards more. I think I would say Halo 3.
Yeah.
And then I would go either Modern Warfare 2 or Outlast. Because Outlast was...
When was Modern Warfare 2?
Modern Warfare 2 was...
Was it in this decade?
2011.
I want to say Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, no, Halo 3 wasn't 2010s. Yeah, you're right. Actually, you might be right, too. Both those games might be 2010 before. So I would have to go... Damn, I don't know who I would pick. But Destiny for sure. And then...
2009. Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, I can
getting old, Dom.
Doesn't make the cuss. I'm getting old. That's an old moment right there.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so there's Modern Warfare 2 I can't use, but so Destiny, Halo 3 was definitely before Modern Warfare 2 then. So I'm going to go
You're not going to go Halo 4.
Destiny, Outlast. No, not Halo 4. Destiny, Outlast, and I really liked the Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Actually, Zombies was actually really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. But those are my top 3. What would you put as yours? It's hard.
I know. Like, as soon as I said it to you,
yeah.
I was like, crap, he's going to ask it to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely
I'm going to say When Rivers Were Trails.
Really?
I want to put that as number 1.
Awesome.
This is the game that is paving the way, in my opinion.
It hit you, too.
It hit me so hard,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And then I want to say either Journey or Gone Home. Those are a couple games.
Was Journey the one you told me to look at, the sand one?
Yeah, the sand one. Yeah, that's a really cool game. I just actually is Journey. Oh crap! How old am I now? Is Journey?
Yeah, now you were over here like, wait, are we old?
Google.
Damn, I'm 22 years old now.
Journey. Let me see. Sorry. Oops.
It's kind of now that I think about that. See, this is why I need a producer right here. You know, I'd be like, hey, can you look that up? And they'd like pull it up on that TV right there.
Survey says.
Yeah. See, like that would be dope.
Tony's old. Yep. Oh, it's in 2012.
Oh, you're good then. You're good.
I'm safe.
Yeah, you're good.
I also like Gone Home too, which is a game where you just walk around in this like big house in the dark and. Oh no! I'm not going to say that one. It's a great game, but I'm going to say
I'm a sub.
I'm going to say Edith Finch.
Edith Finch.
So that's a game set in the Northwest on Orcas Island, and
Whoa.
You are in this big like crazy house, and you're exploring it. There's no combat or anything like that, but you're just sort of picking up artifacts, and you're putting together the story of this family. Oh,
you told me about this one.
Yeah, I'm just. There's a point in the game where I was like, oh my god, they're doing something
different.
Absolutely different. They've made storytelling a real thing in games. Up until that point, for me, storytelling was always sort of like the side dish, like for the game. Like it's all about gameplay, and then you just want to see the next story beat. You're just fighting all the baddies to the next story beat, and then you're fighting more baddies to the next story. But this way that they've designed it is that the story itself is the main thing, but they somehow figure out a way to get like player agency and storytelling to work well together. Yeah.
I think that's
not oil and water. They mix well. You just got to design it.
So that game right there, like you can't like go beat someone up. It's like you're putting together the story, and that's what you really liked about it.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously up to people's taste, but I like exploring and I like stories, and it's just kind of my jam. So what was that? Did I say 3 or 2?
You said 3.
I did.
Yeah, I think. Well, you subbed one out though.
I subbed one out.
Yeah, you subbed. Well, that might have been your third one that you subbed out.
Oh yeah, When Rivers Were Trails.
Journey.
What Remains of Edith Finch and Journey. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you got 3.
Yeah.
You have an honorable mention?
Honorable mention?
Yeah. I think mine would be Fortnite.
I'm Fortnite? Okay.
Yeah, it's because it's impact and the fire it lit under every gaming industry's ass.
Okay. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, I played a lot of Battle Royale, and it's really nice to be able to play with my friends and stuff like that, and just be able to chat. It's like the modern version of calling your friend is just like
get on
playing Battle Royale together.
Yep.
Because it's kind of weird to call people up now and be like, "Hey man, how you doing?"
yeah, they're like, get online.
Yeah, or
Wait, no, Monopoly. I would put as my honorable
Monopoly.
mention. Monopoly has an iOS game, so you can invite people to play Monopoly.
Oh, okay.
I love Monopoly, so I think I would sub that out.
Okay.
Huge Monopoly fan.
Huge Monopoly fan.
I gotta come clean. My cousin whooped my ass in Monopoly, and I had $5,000 in cash, not cash, but Monopoly cash.
Right.
And I was sitting there all pretty, and then one of my other cousins landed on his property. He absorbed all his stuff, and then he just slowly came back, and my money was slowly dwindling away, and I was just sitting there, just I knew it was happening. Halfway through, I was like,
You're just watching it happen.
I was watching myself choke away this
Your
game.
pile of money it was dwindling slowly.
It was my wallet was like a Bible, and then it looked like a verse at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, I'm still butthurt about that one. I didn't even like to bring that one up.
I go through that. I go through that every payday. I have money. Actually, it's not even slow. It's just fast. Boom, it's gone. No.
Rent, food.
Yeah.
And you're like, dog food.
Loans. Student loans. Please, loan forgiveness. Forgive the loans.
And then you're like, we got to get the dogs a toy. And then.
Oh, man. Dog food, every bag is like $30, man.
Oh, my God.
They eat better than me.
Well, on that note, Tony, this has been episode 43. Is there anything you want to leave people behind for the episode? Where they can find you, if you want to be found on social media.
Okay.
This is the time to plug it. Plug away.
All right. I guess you could follow me then at my Twitter.
Yeah, I did tag you. I tagged you in a tweet.
Let's see how many followers I have. I suck at social media. I shouldn't tell you guys how many followers I have. I have 1 billion followers. You'd be like,
I believe it.
You'd be just a drop in the bucket. But follow me anyway. My handle's M_Tatanka.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Come say hi.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, this is Tony. And then he has an article that he's also posted.
Yes.
That we talked about in the beginning. I could put a link to that in the description for the people who are interested, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, totally. Please do.
But yeah, other than that, this has been Tony Brave for episode 43. Quattro, no. It's, hold on. Sequento Trace.
Sequento Trace.
I think. Right. No, I think that's really wrong. But anyway, this has been episode 43 with Tony Brave. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.